Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. If anybody is there, say hello, hello, hello. It is a beautiful Friday. Friday, Friday, Friday. I am on my phone, so I didn't get to give notice this morning. I packed my computer up and I got my dates mixed up, and it is what it is. So, hello, 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 everybody from my phone. Happy Friday, July 24th. Hell, I guess it's the 24th, 2026. Welcome in, welcome in. We're going to pick up kind of part two. I know there's not really a title here, but I'm going to kind of pick up part two from where I left off last night with my thoughts, my opinions, and more of Seth Rogers' lawsuit against DCS, State of Tennessee, and Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Hello, Mama. Good to see you this morning. Hello, welcome in, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Anybody in the bushes, anybody out there on replay that watches later, I want you to know I truly appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. You are all welcome. Yep, this is a very hard one to get through, so we're just going to do it the smiley way. Hey, Deanna, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Good to see you, Paige. Hello, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope the weather's good where you're at. It has not started to rain here yet, but it does look like it's going to rain. So we'll see. We'll see. It's always just a blessing to wake up, right? We could be going through much worse. We sure could. So hello, hello. Come on in and grab your coffee, your Cokes, your sweet tea. Come on in. Anybody? Everybody's welcome. Let's just keep it respectful. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for going over my thoughts and my opinions with me on this. My feelings, your feelings too. We're all in this together. One thing's for sure, we all want Sebastian found. We all want answers. We all feel the ball was dropped, right? All the balls, the football, the baseball, all the balls. Now it's time to wake up. In my opinion, it's time to wake up and stay woke because things are getting real. Things are getting real. Y'all go ahead, if you will, and hit that thumbs up for me. And look, I'm not here to decide who is right or wrong or decide this case. I think now it's way beyond that. It's way beyond any of us. It's not for us. It's for court. But we still all have our thoughts and our opinions, right? And I'm going to voice mine. That is my right. And I have just as much right as anybody else. And so do you, actually. I do believe that it's important that the public understands exactly what this lawsuit alleges and exactly why it matters. Woo-hoo, Millie, thank you, Millie, thank you. Y'all, I got my memberships back. Woo-hoo, and I got my monetization back. Woo-hoo. Thank you, Millie. Love you, girly. Love you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And on this go around, I'm going to try to make it more better, more better, more better. More better. I'll be headed home, settle down, and we going to go hard. We're going to go hard. I'm scared. I'm almost scared on my phone to hit that heart. Oh, I did it. I did it. Okay. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, Millie. Hi, Holly. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Love you all. Love you all. But I think that it's important that the public understand exactly what this lawsuit means. And as always, please, please keep this community respectful. Welcome to Smiley's First Stop. Show Poodles, thank you for being with me. Thank you. You've been here a while with me. Anybody that was on pause, I think you're fixing to get unpaused. Thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for those that have believed in me. I'm nobody special, but I do tell you one thing. I care about these kids, and I care about these stories, and I truly, truly care about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I truly care. That right there is your fact. That is your FACT, honey. I truly care. And I don't want anything but the truth. And I make mistakes. I'm human, right? But I think it's more important that when we make mistakes, we take accountability for them. And even if they're not mistakes, we should stand up and take accountability for them, no matter how hard it is to do that. The hardest thing is not always the easiest thing to do. I've always said that, and if you've been with me a long time, you've heard that. Whoop, whoop, Show Poodles, thank you. Show Poodles gifted 1 membership to someone. Whoever got that, please thank Show Poodles. Thank you. Thank you so much. It looks like, oh, I did see it on this one, this go around. Maybe YouTube's got it where I can see it. Mamo, it looks like, received that gift. Thank you. Either I'm getting better at this, which I doubt that, or something's happened here. Smiley can see it now. Maybe I needed to go off for a while. Hoo-hoo. Yeehaw. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I'm happy about it. It's a good day. It's a good day, and Smiley's good. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Laura. Hello. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. But as always, let's just keep the comments respectful, and let's just keep this reminder. Let's do not harass anyone involved in these cases. Let's discuss the facts that are publicly filed, publicly available. Hey, Tropicana. Tropicana, good morning. And remember, while we're here, we're all here, I believe, for a reason. We're all here for the same reason, and that is for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, right? He's still missing, and we want him found. We want answers, you know. We want awareness. We want all good things, because this should have never been happening. Y'all, I'm sorry if I'm going in and out. I'm on my phone, and all of a sudden, people has decided it's Friday, and they just want to, and this is in my real life, they just want to start texting and all this stuff, so I may go in and out, and I apologize for that. I am unavailable. I am unavailable. I am on a live, honey. But just be respectful. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, he's still missing, and he deserves to be found. He deserves accountability, right? He deserves accountability wherever the evidence may lead. That's my opinion, wherever the evidence may lead. Thank you for all the green hearts. Thank you for all of your support. Everybody who has supported Seth and Sebastian and, you know, trying to help, please continue to do so. Please. All right, let's just get into this part. You know, we were on here last night, almost 2 hours. It's a lot to take in. There is some trigger warnings. I'm going to try my best to come back on this evening sometime. And, you know, I have to take breaks reading this stuff because we have not got into the real meat and potatoes of this. It's not real good. You may not want to eat no more meat and potatoes using that analogy, but it's heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, and all the above. There's just no words for it. But so we're just going to jump into it, and what I'm going to do. Oh, Millie, thank you for gifting a membership. It looks like Paige got that membership. Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my sweet Millie. But it looks like what I want to do is I want to break this down. I want to read the facts from the lawsuit. Janice, thank you. Welcome. Whoop, whoop. To the first stop. Whoop, whoop. Which you've been with me already. They just unpaused. Thank you so much. But what I want to kind of do with this is break it down, and then I want to give my thoughts and opinions. Y'all probably didn't ask for it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Let's see. Sandwich said, sorry before you start. Okay, sorry before I start. Did I miss a question? I'm sorry. Let's see. What did Sandwich say? Sorry before I start. Lord have mercy. You got to grab me before I start, Sam, because, okay, I must start. Oh, there you go. I have a question. Nerdy Addict stated Chris went down to the school. Okay, so he stated Chris went down to the school. When did Chris go down to the school? I'm not sure when. When is he saying that Chris went to the school? Was that at a meeting? Now, why? February 8th, February 9th. Okay, so I don't know of the date. I'm going to have to go back and look at the dates, Sam, to be honest. And it may be on further down when I read, which may not be in this one because I had to stop again. And you're not interrupting, honey. Thank you for asking. Because I only want to get the truth out here, not to discredit anyone. Nerdy may just be further along than I am. But my understanding, okay, the part that I know even before this lawsuit is there was a meeting at the school that Chris went to. So that meeting, what did Chris go down to the school and not Seth? CP, and that was the last time he seen Sebastian. Okay, so my understanding was that he did, there was 2 meetings at the school from my understanding, from my recollection. And I don't want to get this wrong. If I do get it wrong, I apologize. I'm thinking off the top of my head. And I'll correct it later if I did. But from my recollection, to the best of my remembrance, there was 2 meetings at the school. Even from one of my sources way back when I started, there was 2 meetings. One of the meetings, my understanding was, yeah, I understand it just puzzled you. Yes, why Seth wasn't there, right. One of the meetings I understood all 3 of them were there. Okay, that's a little bit confusing because that's something that's still kind of unclear. That is something that I brought up last night and everybody's denying. So again, it's not that they're denying. It just may be on another topic that they were called to the school about. I don't know. I'm not privy to that. And they just may not want that out there. I have no idea. But they allegedly had a meeting with all 3 of them. But then there was allegedly a meeting with just Katie and Chris and the school. Why why Seth was not involved in that, I do not know. I'm going to have to do a little further questioning and investigating in that to give you a straightforward answer. Because if that's the case, I might be thinking what you're thinking. I don't know. I don't pretend to. Then I'm kind of wondering, why would the school not involve Seth? Yeah, it don't set right with me either, if that is true. So I don't know if that could have been, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Put a pin in that one. Yeah, because I'm writing that down now. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I need to check that because I want to give a proper answer. Hey, Cassie, and today we're going to get into yeah, and that's what I kind of talked about last night. But see, everybody is kind of denying that that was Sebastian's involvement. I feel if that's not out there, if that's, maybe that's the one that Seth was not involved in. Maybe he really don't know, and maybe Chris is just trying to keep that private. Listen, I don't know. Yeah, I was just trying to read some of your comments. So I don't know. That one's just a little bit confusing. At this point, all I know is the ball was dropped and we don't know who knows what, to be honest. Today's live, what I'm doing is, though, we're going to get into a lot of those dates. We'll get into a lot of those dates and it'll tell you. But the thing is that everybody, a lot of agencies, Sumner County, DCS, and all of them, they knew a lot of documented facts that was critical a couple of years before Sebastian went missing. So this whole entire thing should have been handled different. And that's not just in my opinion, that's just a fact. And if that wasn't a fact, we wouldn't be sitting here today even talking about any of this. But Sumner County knew things. They knew things years before, a couple of years before. So did the district attorney, y'all. I was reading, and it's in this filing, so did the district attorney was involved way before Sebastian went missing. So was the juvenile justice. I mean, have y'all ever had kids in trouble or anything? And I've never had CPS called on me or anything like that, but I have had a child in trouble. And there's just so many things that stand out as red flags to me that's not normal and don't happen, in my opinion. It just makes no sense. But we'll just get into it. I mean, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, he struggled with behaviors after, and here's the key word, in my opinion. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers struggled with behaviors after, quoties, after, keyword in my opinion, after he moved to Sumner County School District and was placed in the behavior program at Schaefer Middle School. Critically, the intake documented that Sebastian stated he is afraid of what his stepfather, Mr. Chris Proudfoot, would do if he found out, and what he is afraid of is that he will get hurt for telling an adult about what happened. The intake further noted that stepfather has used corporal punishment on him several times before, and it's unknown if he knows about the abuse or how he would react to him or if he would blame him. As I told y'all last night, that really broke my heart. You don't blame or shame a victim or a child, first of all. Excuse me. The intake also noted that Sebastian suffered from a frequent bathroom accidents, and y'all can write these dates down if you want to, and on September 29th, 2022, Richie conducted an investigative review. She documented abuse allegations and noted the next steps would include a full assessment. Initial face-to-face response was due October 3rd, 2022. Okay, so that was September 29th. Then on September 30th, 2022, Boswell, which was another one, met with Sebastian at Schaefer Middle School. Okay, so all this was taking place at the middle school. So she met with him in a private conference room, and Sebastian told Boswell that he feels safe with his family at home. He feels safe with his dad at his dad's home. That would be Seth. And Sebastian ID'd his father in that meeting with her as Seth Rogers, who lives in Clarksville, Tennessee. So Sebastian clearly told them and clearly stated who his father was that he felt safe with and where his father lived, which was in Clarksville, Tennessee. So then it stated something happened when he was in California, but he did not want to talk about it at all at school. Boswell noted that Sebastian had no notable marks, that he had no visible marks or bruises, that he appeared happy and healthy at this time. Okay? So that's what her notes said. And then on October 12th, 2022, Boswell mailed a certified letter to the family noting, and this would be to the Proudfeet, not Seth. This would be to the Proudfeet. So she mailed a certified letter to the family noting they had recently moved and there was no forwarding address. I'm just going to say, if I was in their position, and it was a child like this, I would just have that little red flag in the back of my head. But that's just me. That may not be their policy, but I would keep that little red flag up even if it was closed. But that's just me. What do I know? I don't run the state of Tennessee, okay? But anyway. So then on October 17th, 2022, Richie conducts another administrative review and updates the case. At that time, noting that Boswell had seen the child, meaning Sebastian, and that he did not want to talk about what happened in California. The family was moving and that efforts to contact them had been unsuccessful. Okay? So she tried to mail a certified letter to the family October 12th, noting they had recently moved and there was no forwarding address. And then down here on October 17th, 2022, said when she talked to Sebastian, he didn't want to talk about that. They were moving, and so trying to contact them was unsuccessful. Just saying. So see, to me, in my opinion, with all they knew and all that was documented, in my opinion only again, they all knew. They all were unsuccessful reaching them again, meaning the Proud Feet. They never reached out to Seth. They never tried to contact Seth and say, hey, do you know where your son is at? Where did his mom move to? Where did she take him? None of that stuff. This has been an ongoing investigation, but everything's okay. We're closing the case. How come none of that happened? I mean, usually DCFs knows more about you than you know about yourself, and I'm sure they knew everything there was to know about Seth, and I'm sure they knew exactly where to find him down at the next county, not only where he lived over at the other side of the other county in Clarksville, but I'm talking about down in the next county from Katie and them at Metro Nashville Police Station, Davidson County, where he worked. Actually, Cassie, if I'm not mistaken, Tony might have said that, but I think Chris himself said that. I think that was said on my interview, if I'm not mistaken. And I think there was still one in on Nina's. So, yeah. And I'm just glancing back and forth because I don't want to get sidetracked on this. I apologize. But they were unsuccessful in reaching them again, and they lost contact. Well, it was not their job to lose contact. They should have, in my opinion, contacted the biological father. That should have been a red flag, a huge red flag. And that's when they should have tracked them down. That's when if they failed by contacting Sebastian's biological father, Seth, who had joint custody as well, which they knew that, they should have contacted him. And they should have did a well check, matter of fact, and then proceeded, in my opinion, to give out that certified letter, closing the case if that's what they wished to do. But they didn't do all of that. So, in my opinion, I think they all thought, really, if he was really out of sight, he was just out of mind. Just another number, right? I think, in my opinion, they were all just trying to get Sebastian out of their mind, out of their sight. Another number down on the books, checked off. But that's just my opinion. But in my opinion, as sad as it is, I think, unfortunately, they all just wanted to erase him from not only his dad's mind, but from their mind as well. And they would love nothing more to not hear. And I'm speaking on Chris, Katie, CPS, Sumner County. I am speaking on all the agencies that was involved. I am speaking pretty much on the damn state of whole Tennessee. They probably wish this case would go away and they would never have to see another flyer, hear another name, hear another Seth, hear another Sebastian, hear another Bullhorn Betty, hear another whatever. And what they should be worrying about is, where is this child at? He was a human being. He is a human being, and he is still missing. What in God's name does anybody not understand? I'd love to know if this was your family. Would you go on? Hold on just a minute. I need to confirm something. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. Can y'all hear me now? I hope you can hear me. Okay. Thank you. So, anyway, you know, as sad as that is, what would y'all do if that was your, thank you, Cassie, what would y'all do if that was your child or your grandchild, niece, nephew, or whatever? You'd be heartbroken, right? And you'd do everything that you could to try to find them. And you would want more and more and more. Nothing would ever be enough, in my opinion. So now we're on October 27th, 2022. Boswell went out and she conducted a home visit. I don't know how she found them, but allegedly she found them, and she went out and so I don't know if that means they got another report or whatever, but we're now on October 27th, 2022. So she did a home visit. So at this home visit, okay, Katie says, look, I don't understand why this keeps happening, why that people keep calling, or we keep getting calls into DCS, right? Now, remember, people, this is 2 years before Sebastian even went missing. This is all started. So, in my opinion, this is a problem. This is a problem. I think they're getting frustrated. I think they're getting tired of it. Katie's getting tired of it. Chris is getting tired of it. The hammer's coming down from Chris. It's just going crazy, in my opinion. I think, in my opinion, these wheels started to turn, and I think plans started to be put in place by somebody. I always said it would be a shame if this was premeditated, but I said from the beginning, and you can go back, I always said I did think it was premeditated. I'm not going to change now just because I've been quiet or whatever. I don't follow the leader. I don't fall into place. And there has to come out something pretty strong for me to change my opinion. God gave me a mind, and I think for myself, right or wrong, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. That's all there is to it. But if I'm wrong, I'll let you know, but I'm not going to change my opinion just because. We'll deal with that when we cross that bridge. But in my opinion, this is a problem. I think the wheels started to turn and plans started to take place. Even if some gave ultimatums, and even if they didn't expect those ultimatums would go to certain lengths. But anyway, Katie said she didn't understand why that, why they kept getting these calls and why this kept happening. She said the abuse happened when Sebastian was 8 years old. But here's the thing. Okay? That was just a part of it. But see, the reason they kept getting calls is because other things kept happening in between time and in the meantime. It just kept bringing the abuse back to light. So Katie proceeded to tell them that another child named Jonathan, that's in the records, it's public record. I'm not doxing anyone. Don't know his last name because that's not down. But anyway, that another child named Jonathan was involved. So to me, on Katie's part, that seemed a little bit passive to me. I could hear it and see it now. There was another child named Jonathan involved. Now, that's all been investigated. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you for being here. She stated that DCS was involved and the detectives in the, is it Cajun City? I don't know California or those names, but in California, she provided the California address is 98 blah blah Dale. I don't want to put all that out because somebody might live there now. But anyway, the avenue, I'm not going to put the apartment avenue or number out, in Spring Valley, California. She also confirmed that Sebastian had severe combined type ADHD, 6q27 chromosome deletion, took Concerta, which is an ADHD medicine, had an IEP, and had a behavioral plan and starting therapy at Vanderbilt Psychiatry on November 3rd. So Katie had told them all of that. She also confirmed that Sebastian saw a neurologist at Vanderbilt. And during that same visit with Boswell, she spoke to Chris Proudfoot. They call him Proudfoot in these. But anyway, I might call him Chris. I might call him Proudfoot. But anyway, they refer to Chris as Proudfoot. Anyway, it says, during that same visit with Boswell, spoke to Proudfoot in private. Proudfoot stated this was all investigated in California and that he had never spanked Sebastian. So he does not know why Sebastian feels he would be mad about the SA or talking about what happened in California. Now, that statement was directly contradicted by Sebastian Rogers' own disclosure. He was afraid of what stepfather would do by the intake, noting that stepfather had used corporal punishment on him, actually several times before. And DCS did not reconcile that. They did not reconcile that contradiction. But then it says that they met in private. Boswell met in private, right? with Sebastian several times before, and they did not reconcile that contradiction. That worries me. It was their job to deal with that. They noted, and these are their own notes, they noted Sebastian was completing his homework and appeared to be happy and healthy. Well, we can all see in those photos when he was at school, he would smile and he's happy. He seemed to be healthy and he seemed to be clean. And we seemed to see those photos where that was a picture perfect home. Some even called it a prop. Some say photos speak 1,000 words. In this case, I beg to differ. Sometimes photos are not everything that they seem, and sometimes people are breaking and are broken behind their smiles. Yeah, he was so well-mannered at Texas Roadhouse, and he knew to get up and go to the bathroom. And we're getting there. But if he had a pull-up on there, at least he wasn't lazy and didn't just want to go in his pull-up, right? He knew to get up and go to the bathroom. That's another thing that pisses me off. And we'll get there, and when we do get there, you'll understand. Because you'll understand why I don't understand why he was even in pull-ups. Sorry, but I don't. Sorry. And you'll understand why, because there is a statement that Chris says to DCS that makes me say that. It makes me step back and take a pause and go, what? What? Anyway. So Boswell said he seemed happy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you right now, never judge a book by its cover. I mean that. Seriously, in my opinion. Because Boswell, in my opinion, she was not too good at that, was she? She was not too good at her job. Then, on November 22nd, 2022, Boswell verified. She verified now the sexual abuse case in California had been indeed investigated by Detective Garcia, by Detective Gloria Mendoza, and also verified the mental health services at Vanderbilt Hospital there in Nashville and all the appointments for Sebastian. She verified all that. And on November 3rd, 2022, the case was presented to Sumner County Child Protective Agency, which has a multiple team, okay? They have a multiple team there, and it includes the juvenile court system, Ashley's Place, which is a child advocacy center, and where was this place advocating for Sebastian? I'm just wondering. I'm just asking. Hey, BJ, good to see you. Hello, hello, BJ Zoe. I know. It's been a while since I've really been on here for anything worth anything. Hello, hello. I hope you're doing good. But where was that advocacy, right? Even involved was the Assistant District Attorney Jeannie Smith, and law enforcement protective a detective was assigned to that case. See, all of this matters. All of this matters. And they agreed at this time as an administrative whole to close it for closure. Now, why is that? Why was that? Those balls was dropped, in my opinion. The balls was dropped. They got tired of playing catch. They didn't want to play catch no more, in my opinion. At expense, in my opinion, of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Because now, in my opinion, somebody is laughing at all of you dummies. They're saying, catch me if you can. And I'm speaking exactly to DCF. I am speaking to the court system, juvenile court system. I'm speaking to Ashley's Place. I'm speaking to the assistant district attorney, Jeannie Smith. I'm speaking to law enforcement. I am speaking to you all. See, now what you did, in my opinion, and I can have my thoughts and opinion, somebody is laughing at you all because you didn't want to play ball, and now they're going, you dummies, catch me if you can. You all look crazy in my opinion. But hey, that's me. I'm a little bit crazy too. But I own my crazy. It's time you own your crazy. Right? Own your crazy. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you for being here. We're just going over part 2. If you didn't see part 1 last night, I think it was a good live. I appreciate everybody that was here. We had a great live last night. It was hard. And it's going to get harder as we go on. I have to break this down because it's just horrible. So now, Richie updates her case on November 7th, 2022, saying the case has now been presented to CPIT as administrative closure. It was investigated in California. She says, she pisses me off more than any of them. She says in her report, this was child on child, same age. Are you freaking kidding me? I don't give a damn if it's frog on frog, lady. That makes it okay? Just wondering. Anyway, I don't want to get off on no blood pressure tantrum today. But with that said, in her notes, that was child on child, same age. We're closing this case. What the actual F? So then on November 14th, 2022, Richie spoke to the director, Amy Salers, and the classification was changed to unable to complete. Unable to complete based on policy 14.7 or 147. I'm not sure. I couldn't really see that great. But because of a policy, I think it's 14.7, because of the incident that occurred out of state, is what they are saying. Then on November 15th, 2022, the supervisor completed the final review and approved the case to be closed. Why? It said, the foregoing investigation gave DCS and law enforcement actual knowledge of Sebastian's vulnerability by reason of actual knowledge. DCS and law enforcement was on heightened notices, but they were, in reality, I say, they had more allegations of abuse and reports. So why? So they say they were in the Proudfoot household. That on November 7th, 2022, Richie dated her review, noting the case has been presented to the CPIT administrative closure. It was investigated, and all that stuff, what I just said. Look, I don't care. I don't care if it was child on child. I don't care if it was investigated. They did the bare minimum, in my opinion. So then the director, Amy Silers, and the classification was changed, unable to complete. Okay, so we know that going back. So let's jump a bit. The intake reported Proudfoot, which is Chris, had made comments about pushing the child against the wall. Okay? Because they, remember, went out to visit. So he made comments about he pushed the child against the wall when he did not behave. Okay, this come out of Chris's mouth to them. We're talking about a disabled child with multiple disabilities. Many. Some we're probably not even aware of, but anyway. Look, Chris, I'm talking to you. This is not a full-grown man, first of all. Second of all, he's a child. And he was more of a child at that time, and I don't care what kind of child he is. I don't care what he did. He is a child. Not only is he a child, he has many disabilities, physically, mentally, and otherwise. Trauma that he's been through, emotionally. And the last point I want to make, he damn sure was not in no military or military camp. Okay? You were not his drill sergeant. Now, I don't care. I don't know about you or these other people. Respectfully, I don't care what was done or not done, but I don't care how you slice this, how you dice this. But this is pure, straight out child abuse, in my opinion. I'm allowed to have. And I see that as a fact. And I see it not only as child abuse, but abuse of a disabled child. And for that reason alone, that system failed. They failed for allowing you to respectfully smooth talk them, like we know you can do, smooth talk them right into to continue to abuse emotionally, physically, and every other way of Sebastian that he had to endure at your hands, in my opinion. That, my friend, is a fact. And I don't know how anybody can support that. Under his mother's roof, and in my opinion, he was failed. And Katie allowed all of this, in my opinion. Now, he's gone. But I bet you have no regrets. I bet she has no regrets. But in my opinion, only in my opinion, which I'm entitled to, when, I don't want to say if, I'll say when the time comes, whether you did anything or not, there was things done. And if the law says you're guilty and they come for you, or anybody, the only thing y'all are going to have regrets for and be sorry for is when that day comes, is for yourself. Because it's not Sebastian outsmarting all of these people. It's you thinking y'all are smooth talking all of these people and outsmarting everybody. I'm sorry to tell people. Holly, exactly. And that should shout volumes. I think you and Mother Dearest will only be sorry for yourself and only regret what you finally got caught up in. If that day ever comes, would be my guess. Just like anybody else that's caught up in a situation like this. And like Justin Clutch Them Pearls said on his live last night, which I only caught a piece of that. I didn't realize he was live when I was live last night. Sorry about that, Justin. Something everybody else is not talking about. You thought you were slick, saying you hit him in the stomach or whatever. Well, what about Sebastian having that problem with his chest? Why would you even go there and hit him in the chest or such a stomach, such a sensitive area? Just asking. Just asking. And I said it yesterday, and I know it hurt Seth. You know, Seth called to check on me last night. He didn't call. He texted me and wanted to know was I all right. I apologize to him for things I had to say on my live because I know it hurt him more than anything, but he understands. You know, and the truth is the truth. But I'm going to unfortunately say it again on here. And I'm saying it to you, Chris. Why would you do that? You know Sebastian loved you. You know he loved you. And he didn't have a hate bone in his body. But you hated him and you hoped he died? That's in the reports. has your wish come true? Has it? See, in my opinion, you thought you would take a tiny bit of accountability when they came out. You could say that with that sweet talk, with that respectful whatever you have, you could say, I just pushed him against the wall. I didn't push him hard. He just kind of fell back. He's a little bit clumsy, ha ha ha. I might have pushed him in the belly. I might have. I didn't mean to. It was nothing, yada, yada, yada. But you know how to manipulate people, Chris. In my opinion, listen, I don't know why you yourself went to the military. Thank you for that. Because I'm not going to knock anybody who went to fight for our country, whether you fought or not. I'm not, you still went to the military. I don't know. People go for different reasons. So thank you for that. I'm not knocking anybody in the military. Do not get me wrong, please. I don't know why you went there, but my point is you are supposed to be, and if your mama never told you this, I'm telling you this, you are supposed to be a man with integrity, a man with morals. And I'm telling you this now. Now is the time to come clean about what you know, about your part in any of this, whether it was hands-on or not. Accountability. And or help. Get some of that integrity and them morals out and help whoever you need to help see the light, to not hide under a rock and do the right thing. Then be that hero, be that person with those morals. Stand up stronger than you have done in your life. Right your wrongs and help others tell the truth for Sebastian, because the truth will someday come out. Now, on May 8th, 2023, approximately 6:30 p.m., Boswell she got there at the family home, meaning the Proudfoot home. Proudfoot, meaning Chris, granted permission to enter the home. Boswell met with Sebastian on the front porch. Sebastian said he remembered Boswell coming out to the home last year. During that interview, Sebastian told Boswell that Chris required he wore a belt every day. Sebastian said that Chris asked him to pull up his shirt, and when Sebastian didn't have a belt on, Chris smacked him in the belly with the back of his hand and said, "You know you're supposed to wear a belt." So, the back of the hand thing, y'all, if you don't remember, it matches Sebastian in the belly story. We've heard that around the YouTube streets and stuff. But also, it matches his ex-wife Nina's story about how he backhanded her daughter when she had on braces. Remember that? You know, that was just heartbreaking. It was an interview that was done with Chris's ex-wife and Trevor Lee back in the beginning, at the start of this case, if you remember. So, yeah, it matches. Oh, and Chris, it come out of your own words, because if you don't know, people you think you trust, there's recordings of you out there that they recorded you. Yeah, your best buds that you trust the most. See, when I say I'm not going to fucking record somebody, I'm not going to record somebody. But when I tell you there's shit out there and it finally is coming around getting back, and it's probably in people's hands you wish it wasn't, or they might wish it wasn't. I don't know which one. It also matches to these reports as well. Just saying. Y'all, I got to try to stay focused because I got to zip it up. Hi, Nana. Hello, Nana. But in my opinion, this shows Chris, and this is my opinion, this shows, in my opinion, that Chris is violent towards children. And this case, it has nothing to do with whether you like him or his co-workers like him or he's a very respectful person or blah, 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 blah. This has to do, and this shows with, in my opinion, that Chris is a violent person towards children. It also backs up Nina's story that he never wanted children, in my opinion. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's get back to the Smiley's farm. This case should have been handled different. It should have been handled with caution no matter what. No matter what situation, when Sebastian went missing, Sebastian also told Boswell that he had been lying to Katie and Chris about brushing his teeth. Well, my God, he was treated like a kid in, you know, I don't even know. Maybe he didn't want to brush his damn teeth. Maybe that was his out. I'm just saying, for God's sakes. But anyway, that he had been lying to Katie and Chris about brushing his teeth. Can you imagine everything that you did as a child? Never mind all them disabilities, having ADHD, all these things running through your head and your mind all the time, and clean my house and take care of my 30 snakes and do this and do that. And when it better be done when I'm not at work and when I'm not at home, and I got cameras and da-da-da-da. Can you imagine this running around in your head? Imagine that child was scared to death at all times. But anyway. So he told the lady he lied to Katie and Chris about brushing his teeth and that he had been getting in trouble for lying. So Boswell then met with Chris Proudfoot on the porch, and then Proudfoot admitted that he was cleaning Sebastian's drawers. Well, is that one of the times, Chris, just asking, that you forgot to tell her that you were throwing his shit away like you told me on my live? I'm just asking for a friend. Why is his mother not cleaning his room or his drawers? Anyway, back to the story, back to the facts of what's in the paperwork. So Boswell then met with Chris. Chris told her he was cleaning Sebastian's drawers, and he asked Sebastian if he had on a belt. When Sebastian pulled up his shirt, so he's going to try to blame the victim. and said Proudfoot whacked him in the back of, with the back of his hand in his belly, and said uh, said you are supposed to wear a belt every day. Now, Chris stated this to Boswell. So, I mean, they have all this. They have all of this information. It's just wild and crazy, right? So, okay. So a belt he needed to wear every day. Chris told them because, okay, here we go. So Chris told her he needed to wear a belt every day because he needed to start wearing pull-ups. Are y'all listening to me? He needed to wear a belt every day because he needed to start wearing pull-ups. Look, I don't know about y'all, but what do you mean he started to wear pull-ups? Keyword. It seems pretty clear to me that that is kind of crazy, because if you would think that he needed pull-ups, and I understand what the therapist just wrote and all of this stuff about him, the bathroom and all of this stuff and accidents, you would think that would have started in California. Hey, Retha and everybody coming in. You would think that, why is this something new? This is in my thought. Why is this something new that he just needed to start wearing pull-ups? Why? Now that part is wild to me. And that should have been a big red flag. Why is he just now, a couple of years later, having to wear pull-ups? I get these issues, but did he not have to wear pull-ups in California the years prior? I want to know why Chris worded it like that. I don't understand. Well, evidently it was in the daytime sandwich because Sebastian was going to school. He needed a belt because he was starting to wear pull-ups. So I imagine it was both day and night. That's what I'm thinking. So now he's wearing pull-ups now. So he needed a belt every day to keep his pants up. That's what it stated. That's what Chris stated. That should have been an alarm bell. So it said, anyway, Proudfoot had claimed he has never hurt Sebastian. It notes that with Proudfoot's own admission that he whacked a child diagnosed with autism and multiple disabilities in the belly, and long time physical abuse. Yeah, humiliation. And his requirement that Sebastian wear pull-ups and shirt lifting inspections constituted degrading him and humiliating him. It was a treatment of a disabled child who suffered who suffered from documented bathroom accidents and consequences of their essay. Boswell then spoke to Katie. She spoke to Katie in the kitchen. She spoke to Katie in the kitchen, and she stated that, Katie stated that we've been working with Sebastian on when he tells something, he needs to tell the truth, to tell the entire story. And she says Sebastian will tell his bits and pieces. Again, shame on you, Katie, for blaming your own son, for not listening to him, in my opinion. I can only imagine, look, while Boswell's out on the porch with Sebastian interviewing him, they're in there getting their story straight. That's just my opinion. But she stated that she had no concerns that her husband, Mr. Proudfoot, smacked Sebastian in the belly with any intent to hurt him. And again, y'all, in my opinion, she put Chris above her son, her one and only child, her son, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. She did not want to go from that life, from riches back to rags, in my opinion, to the poor little redhead girl she came from, and probably in a worse position, in my opinion. She, in my opinion, chose Chris Proudfoot and everything over her son, over her only child. On May 9th, 2023, Boswell verified that Sebastian was receiving therapy services 3 times a week through a private therapist and medication management through Mental Health Cooperative. So on May 11th, 2023, Richie contacted Administrative Review and concluded again, I don't know how many times they're going to conclude this, but concluded again that this case is hereby sent in for closure. At this time, no services was needed because a case manager had visited with the family, the Proudfeet, and the family denied any concerns. Well, duh. Of course they denied the concerns. Hey, Jude. It said that the child reported being safe in the home, he stated, and that his stepfather dropped or popped his belly and told him to wear a belt. It did say that. But the child denied physical abuse in the home. Well, was that before or after they left him with Chris outside and went back in with Katie to interview her? For God's sakes. Just wondering. The stepfather reported the same, Richie noted the case was completed with no intervention. On May 11th, 2023, the case was closed. No services needed. So, DCS failure to involve Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, who held joint physical custody and legal custody of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, pursuant to court order. Despite all of that, DCS never notified Seth Rogers that the investigation was underway. It ever happened, never interviewed him, never called him, never went to visit him, never did anything. As Sebastian and others told them all who his father was, Seth Rogers, who lives in Clarksville, Tennessee. They never tried to ask him questions. They never tried to find out what was happening from his point of view. They never tried to inform him of anything. They never tried to offer him to take Sebastian. Would he take Sebastian? They never tried to see if they could help him. They never tried to say if Sebastian needed to go live with him or anything. DCS only did the most basic things that they had to do. Had they have contacted Seth, he could have expressed to them on multiple occasions that he was more comfortable with Seth than he was with Chris, that he was afraid of Chris. He already said that. He didn't want to talk to Chris about the prior abuse. He was scared what Chris would do. A lot of that is in their own paperwork. He could have told them his side, whether they listened or not. It could have been wrote down in case it was needed, and sadly, in this case, it is definitely needed. The main thing of all, that abuse in the home should have been reported to his father. They should have let his father know there was problems, huge red flags, and huge problems. This was not a father out there not willing to take Sebastian, not willing. He didn't know. In my opinion, Sebastian had already went through enough. He suppressed enough, and he felt they didn't believe him. You know, they felt he didn't believe him. And then you got Katie, his own mother, not taking up for him, choosing Chris. You know, you got Chris telling him he hates him, he wish he would die. Neighbors said that. I didn't say that. That's in the CPS reports couple of years before he went missing. That's horrible. And there's lots and lots more, and we're going to get into it. So I will be back. But there's so much more we have to cover on this. It's unreal. And the next is probably going to be very trigger warning. But I feel we just touched on, barely. And we just walked through, barely tiptoed through another section of this filed federal lawsuit with a bunch of stuff, you know, and a bunch of my thoughts and opinions mixed in, and I know y'all's, and a bunch of emotions. And again, I'll say, these are allegations, and the defendants, all of them, they will have a chance to respond in court. That's just how our justice system works. No matter what state you live in, no matter where you stand, who you stand for, I hope we all agree that every child deserves to be safe. Every report of abuse needs to be took serious and looked at carefully, and every call that these officers say that they will do when they took that oath will be investigated properly, especially when it's a red flag and a vulnerable child or adult like this. because there is way too many out there, and these balls were all dropped all over the place. They are just out there bouncing, and people are out there just laughing. For me personally, for me personally, it's never been about taking sides. It's truly about the only one side there is that matters, and that is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That's who matters to me. This young man has been missing since February 25th, 2024. He was reported on February 26th, 2024. And yes, I think his father deserves answers. I think we all deserve answers, but his father is out there fighting for answers. Any answers he can get, and he's not giving up. So before we go, I can't play the music because I'm on my phone, but just remember, Sebastian deserves truth. And I hope this truth will arise out of somebody's mouth, heart, head. Because somebody out there knows the truth. And I feel more than one person. It's better to come forward now than later. Get it off of your shoulders. Can this be ended? Where is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? Some people ask what you can do. Just please continue to share a flyer. It can be 1, 5, 10. Share the flyers in your area. Keep his name out there. Keep talking about him. And we'll be back. I'll be back with you. I've got to read up some more on this. I thank you all for being here. Every one of you. Thank you, mods. Thank you, chat. Thank you for people who's going to rewatch. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for members. We got to get back into that. Lordy, I'll be home this weekend. So, yeah, it never had to get to this. It didn't, and it still don't. It can be stopped at any time, and that's the part about it, Holly. It can be stopped at any time, okay? Just tell the truth. Again, I'll say it like I said it last night. Sometimes the hardest thing is not the easiest thing, but you know what? It's the right thing. All right, I love every one of y'all, and I will see you in these streets, YouTube streets, that is, and I will see y'all later. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that